And they had a box. I just simply had a briefcase full. And we were walking to the front door. They were following us. And, folks, what is this?
Yeah.
And we got out. And we were kicked out. And I never in my life, where the hell did the owner of Cumulus grow up? Where did he go to school? How did he miss the spankings of being I don't really, I'm serious. What on earth is wrong with somebody in this day and age? I mean, here we are, and I love being at the 21st century, and I love being part of the 20th century, bringing us into the 21st century. But I would think that we mature, we learn things, we grow, we shine better, and so not that sucker. I never saw him again. And upstairs, a lot of the people were in tears as we were saying goodbye. All those years. But we did it. And they had, to this day, it amazes me how something as bad as Cumulus, it's too bad we don't have written into the corporate structure of America what national, international corporations, what kind of behavior they should have. You don't do that to human beings. No. You just don't, and you sure as hell don't do it. Not just to the 3 of us, or the 4 of us, or the 5 of us here, but you don't do it to the 33,000 listeners we might get here, we might get there, who rely on us to come in and to do what we know to do. It was really
shock and awe.
It was a shock.
It was fratricide.
There you go.
Mickey Lookoff built up the KGO family for over 30 years.
Yep.
Built up the loyalty. And
yep.
he committed fratricide on our family.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they did.
One swift swoop.
And so I started getting calls immediately. I happen to be associated with a couple of national organizations. I'm one of the founders of the National Association of Black Journalists, which is a pretty big organization now, so I got calls from Washington, D.C. and what have you. And I said, tell me about Cumulus, tell me about Cumulus. So they told me a couple of things. One of the things they told me is that, well, you know, Cumulus, they're pretty rock-solid conservative Republicans, and what they really want to do, and they said, you know, my friends in Washington on a joint phone call, and they were all really very happy that I was taking it as well as it was. You know, they want to get rid of someone like you who has spent their life developing it with civil rights, with women rights, with all of the rights that we need in this country. They love to think that we're going to get by all the radio stations in the nation where there's a liberal talk show host who 4 hours a day can give Barack Obama free airtime. A time that he doesn't need to pay at all.
Right.
And stuff like that. So I heard that not only from him, I heard it over and over that this is what Cumulus is doing. Buying stations here, buying stations there, and the pretty big stations, like we are. And I just shook my head and I said, well, this is not going to do it. You're going to need somebody a hell of a lot better than some of the Republicans I've seen coming up. And if I can continue to see Barack Obama doing bigger and better things, and I think that man who made history, he became the first one of us to become president of the United States in a country that believes in equality, in honesty, and all that good stuff. Then I think I'm going to see the beautiful Michelle, the handsome Obama, and their wonderful children in those, I hate to say, the White House for another term. And I think that America really, truly is going to be saved. But that's what they wanted to do here. That is what my broadcast professional friends across this nation called to tell me. And so that's it. And as a matter of fact, that's the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense. Why would you knock out guys that for years are number one? And sitting up there and doing their things, involved in the community,
Yes.
which is wonderful, and so forth. Unless you have that kind of scheme. Now, I said this once before, about a week ago, and I thought, well, I'll say it again tonight, because when I said it a week ago, it was carried all over the country. And so I hope this is carried all over the country, because it scared the hell out of a lot of other people who are about to be eaten by cumulus. Who is cumulus? What are they? Now, in America, if you've got the money, and they have the money, you can do what you want with it, by and large. Even if it causes the professional death of a number of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, mainly because of their philosophy of what America ought to be all about. And I don't think America ought to be about anything other than looking around, looking at everybody, enjoying the rainbow coalition of people that, take me back to my Third Baptist Day, the good Lord put here in America, where we came up from slaves, we became a president. Women came from behind, that they got wonderful, wonderful people like Eileen Hernandez and others creating the National Organization for Women. And by God, women's rights were attended to here in the United States of America. Well, I don't care how much Cumulus wants this to happen, they're simply going to be out of the money. It will not happen. I think the hearts and souls and minds and feelings of the overwhelming majority of Americans will be, we ain't going backwards.
I agree with that.
So,
Let's be the Phoenix here in California.
there you go.
Let's be the Phoenix rising down the avenue.
Absolutely.
Let's start it here in San Francisco.
No question about it. I thoroughly enjoy what I've had the opportunity to do. I'll just throw a couple of things your way. I told you about being art commissioner in the city, and we did do a lot of other things. But there's one thing I'm really, really proud of. I don't know how many of you heard of it, how many of you have gone down, but I was given a call by a whole group of black educators in Monterey. And this is about 24, 25 years ago. Oh, Mr. Taliaferro, we listen to your show every night. Oh, we love you, sir. We know that you're a commissioner. We know you know how to do things. We would like to have a blues festival in Monterey. And so I created the 100-Day Blues Festival. And every year, when I see those people backstage, I introduce Ella Fitzgerald, anybody that you can mention in blues, I introduce them. I'm the master of ceremonies. And we have a wonderful, wonderful time. And all through this episode over the last few days, I kept thinking to myself, one of these days, if we stand firm enough and push hard enough, we're going to have horrible, constitutionally illiterate people like the owners of Cumulus who think that they can simply take some bucks around. Well, you know, there's something that's greater than bucks. It's intelligence, it's warmth, it's humanity, it's love, it's appreciation, it's getting together and pushing as hard as we can to make this a beautiful, beautiful society. And
We're going
so,
to take back KGO.
pardon me?
We're going to take back KGO.
Oh, please, please take back KGO. I noticed we got our, my wonderful friend there, who I'll never meet again because he's the security here for KGO. And every night he would tell me, oh, great show, Mr. P, great show, Mr. P, great show, Mr. P, and I miss you. Yeah, it's just, it's why we haven't crossed this Rubicon, this desert to its completion is beyond me. But if it takes us to do it, I'm all for doing it. I'm all for doing everything I can possibly do. People have already lit up on Facebook and on other things, and I'm booked to give a lot of little speeches around, and I just hope that at some point, by the time this is finished, that we can drive out of San Francisco and other decent cities indecent people like the owners of Cumulus.
Yeah.
So it's, life is wonderful, truly. It just has its niches from time to time. Being born when I was born and coming up that road as I did, as I explained, that's why I told you about the road I came up to get here. And all of the people that I met, well, I'll just tell you this one. I was sitting at the other building at KGO, and I had just started. And I did do the mass choirs for Martin Luther King at the Cow Palace. And I sent letters out to over 400 churches. They sent their best singers, and we had about, I don't know, 7,000 people in the auditorium. And just to stand there as being as young as I was and conducting everything, it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. When I got the job here at KGO on Golden Gate Avenue, I was doing the news in the afternoon, like say around 4 o'clock. And they handed me the, oh, Ray, here's the latest. Handed me the latest, and I started crying. Martin Luther King was dead, and I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And I did like this, and another person came over, took my place at the news desk, and I said, I got to take it. I just can't see this. What on earth would this country do? How wrong it is for us to go out and wipe out people, whether you use a pistol, whether you use a rifle, whether you use some kind of corporate sledgehammer to wipe out people who really stick to what I consider to be the American dream and push for it, talk for it. We're given a gift by, you name it, and wherever we got the gift to do what we do, we got it. And by Jove, we've been here at KGO all these years. And KGO has done a hell of a lot. I'm very proud for all of the charitable things that we did. I'm very proud to be one of the first 2 people to push the Leukemia Cure-a-thon. And we pushed it. And I remember staying up for 24 hours doing it and hammering and jamming and so forth. And we raised it. And during the period of time that we had it, year after year, it grew year after year after year after year. By God, when they decided to do something other than the Cure-a-thon, it's because we had raised $20 million. And the largest amount of money made by any single station in broadcast history. And I was very proud. They made me president of the association here. We did a few other things and so forth. So when I look at what a community oriented broadcast center is all about, we just don't sit there and speak our own mind. We speak what needs to be spoken regarding what the needs of our community is all about. And we've done it time after time after time after time. If we've had police problems, we did it. If we had medical problems, we didn't open up the door so that people who were on low income might be able to get the same kind of medical treatment, for example, in the General Hospital on Potrero, as everybody else. Just on and on and on. That's the way you build it. You don't get some folks out of some place where whatever part of hell Cumulus came from. And those guys came out here, and I'll just never forget it. First of all, I don't like being treated rudely.
No.
So if you come in to talk with me, oh, hello, Mr. Taliaferro, and hello, Mr. Williams, how are you? Good to see you, and so forth. All that's gone.
Yeah.
Look how long it took our society to build it. There were slaves brought in from Africa to do some building. It took how many hundreds of years for that to be settled? What civil war did we need for that? And when we develop what we human beings ought to be all about, it ought to stick with us, and we ought to build on it. We should never fall beneath it. And that's what I think Cumulus is doing. That's why I'm so pleased when I got a call to be here to meet They said some of the best people I would ever meet. They didn't tell me I'd see some of the most handsome gentlemen in all of Northern California, or the most beautiful women ever to grace the Golden Gate. But